Namaste, good afternoon. In the spirit of recent events, I'd like to briefly go over some of the things that I experienced along the way. First of all, it was 33 years devoted to Rinzai Zen. Strict sitting, straight posture, studied martial arts, tea ceremony, ikebana, cha dao tea ceremony. Anyway, I got to the point where I was always searching for clarity because I've always assumed that clarity, that Zen promised clarity, number one, and number two was my understanding of clarity meant to see clearly, to see through the illusion, to see through the pond. And I only actually gave up the precepts, as I understood them, for this clarity. The price you had to pay was silencing the mind, quieting it, ignoring it, with the ultimate goal of dwelling in silence. And my monkey mind was always going. So this, after 30 years of trying really hard, I gave up. And it's funny that what happened, two things transpired. Number one is I realized along the way, during this 33 years, I got a greater gift than clarity. I got the gift of equanimity. All things are always equal. I reacted. I stayed on an even keel. It didn't mean I had my ups and downs, but the ups and downs have flattened out. The curve is, and the remembrance, the continuation is a much shorter duration. But equanimity doesn't mean you're without emotion. It just means that you look at everything from the same eyes, up, down. And it became an important characteristic to deal with duality and to reduce it to the true state, non-duality. Anyway, I stumbled on jhana yoga after I'd given up and surrendered and said, I don't know what's out of my hands, what do I know? I'd been at the game 33 years of Rinzai, but a good 15 to 20 years with different types of Hinduism, Paramahamsa Yogananda being the foremost, his Kriya Yoga. Even though my understanding of energy was always, I learned about the chakras. And anyway, after I surrendered, I read about the four yogas, and the jhana yoga, kriya yoga, the energy, karma yoga, the action, selfless action, and bhakti yoga, the devotion, the surrender to a divinity. Okay, and it was jhana yoga, the path of knowledge, that suited my skill set, suited my gifts. Because I had a fine mind that I had given up on trying to quiet. I'd learned to basically ignore the monkey mind, and sometimes laugh at it. And this is what led to never conquering, but to minimize the monkey mind. And then I started realizing that I had a skill for taking information as a scholar, information, gleaming it for knowledge, and gleaming it further for wisdom. And along the way, once I accumulated this wisdom, I kept increasing it. I had to visit in my awakening. I had an experience of going to a library at Alexandria in Egypt and absorbing the books just poured in. And what I realized is that for a brief period of time, I knew everything that had been known, everything that will be known, and everything that is known. I knew it all. I had access to it. And I was able for a short period of time to keep my mind from exploding and absorb everything. And I've learned that there's a place where everything that's known can be accessed, and then I learned to start accessing it. But one of the important side effects of accumulating this knowledge and sorting it and filing it, had a little librarian that would be able to access it. And I learned an important lesson that I'll know what I need to know when I need to know it. And then I started to looking through this whole process. At the same time, I was looking through nitty, not this, not that. And I started to discern through the wisdom that I gained of what I wasn't. And that seemed like the way to go, to eliminate what I wasn't, and that left over what I was. Okay, and I got a great list from Soraya Prem, Catherine Soraya Prem, and I'm borrowing it because it's in public domain. She accredits this to Adi Shankarakacharya, an enlightened sage of the Advaita Vedanta tradition, the tradition through jhana yoga that I had chosen to follow. And this is what it said: I'm not the mind, the intellect, the ego, or memory. I'm not the ears, the skin, the nose, or the eyes. I'm not space, nor earth, nor fire, water, or wind. I am the form of consciousness and bliss. I am the eternal Shiva. I am not breath, nor the 5 elements. I am not matter, nor the 5 sheaths of consciousness, nor am I speech, the hands, or the feet. I am the form of consciousness and bliss. I am the eternal Shiva. There is no like or dislike in me, no greed or delusion. I know not pride or jealousy. I have no duty, nor desire for wealth, lust, or liberation. I am the form of consciousness and bliss. I am the eternal Shiva. No virtue or vice, no pleasure or pain. I need no mantras, no pilgrimage, no scriptures or rituals. I am not the experienced, nor the experienced themselves. I am the form of consciousness and bliss. I am the eternal Shiva. I have no fear of death, no caste or creed. I have no father or mother, for I was never born. I am not a relative, nor a friend, nor a teacher, nor a student. I am the form of consciousness and bliss. I am the eternal Shiva. I am devoid of duality. My form is formlessness. I exist everywhere, pervading all senses. I am neither attached, neither free nor captive. I am the form of consciousness and bliss. I am the eternal Shiva. All my effort doesn't do much good. That is why so many say that they got where they are when they finally gave up. Remember, surrender. I realized the cart can't pull the horse. With love, attainment is inevitable. We are already here. If you want peace, you can have it. It's not the result of practice or journey. It's practice of the expression of love. Yes, indeed. Pardon me where I am sorting things through. I wanted to go to yet another. Okay. Sorry for the diversion. I just wanted to touch on something else in this. And this is something that I feel quite strongly about, and I'm learning more and more, and that's why I want to address it here, is that why we feel the need to be teachers. Okay, so why do so many people want to be teachers? And when someone thinks they had a glimpse of enlightenment, why do most feel the need to teach or become teachers of enlightenment? First, it's an assumption that most become teachers. How do you know that? Secondly, the urge is not so much to teach, but to share. This is Daniel Shea. Being the self is a celebration. How do you feel? How do you feel? Boy, I'm really struggling. How do you feel when you're in a celebratory mood? Don't you want to share the wonder with others? That's part of the joy and the paradox of being the self. There is only one, and yet is appear many, allowing the one to share with the self. Never really are there two more involved in any conversation or sharing, but the apparency or the manyness does not allow for the experience of sharing does allow for the experience of sharing to take place. One consciousness, different views. Moreover, if you've ever spoken to people, you understand that all of their alleged problems stem from the fact that they are not that they think that they are a person. You can address their problems and address a root out of which they appear. The root is the lie that one is a person. If they can see the who has the problem, then they will find the end of suffering. It's not about teaching, after all. It's because no one can teach. You have to see the self is sharing with itself with you and joy. But in the dream there is amnesia, and the self simply has bought into the idea that it's separate character. And you just need to remind them, the dreamer, who he is. And he's likely to burst into laughter if you found the right one to share with. It's important to say that the message of the end of suffering may be an offer to the world by a spiritual teacher, but there's absolutely no attachment to any outcome.